Amara Williams had learned to be invisible. In the glittering world of Hanul, Los Angeles' most exclusive Korean restaurant in the heart of Koreatown, invisibility kept you employed. The wealthy patrons who frequented the establishment didn't want to see the waitress. They wanted their soju refilled, their galbi perfectly grilled, their existence pampered without acknowledging the hands that served them. She'd perfected the art over 3 years of double shifts, swallowing her pride along with her exhaustion. Her grandmother's medical bills didn't care about dignity, neither did the rent on their cramped apartment in South LA, where helicopters circled nightly and gunshots punctuated her sleepless nights. But tonight, invisibility shattered. Amara watched the man in the corner booth, the one everyone whispered about, the one whose presence made the manager sweat and the kitchen staff move with military precision. Jae-hyun Lee. Even his name carried weight, spoken in hushed reverence or abject terror depending on who uttered it. She'd served him twice before. He never looked at her. Nobody did. Until she saw the bartender, Min-seo, with her perfect smile and trembling hands, slip something into his whiskey. Something that dissolved too quickly, left the amber liquid too still. Amara's heart hammered. Every instinct screamed, "Not your problem. Look away. Survive." But her hand was already moving, pen scratching across her order pad. "Don't drink this." The note felt like fire in Amara's palm as she approached Jae-hyun Lee's table. Her reflection caught in the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Western Avenue, a young black woman in a crisp white shirt and black slacks, her natural curls pulled into a neat bun, her rich brown skin glowing under the ambient lighting. She looked calm, professional. She was terrified. Jae-hyun sat alone in the private corner booth, an island of controlled power in an expensive charcoal suit. His white shirt was open at the collar, 4 buttons undone in a way that suggested he'd been here for hours. The tattoo on his neck, a sleek Korean dragon rendered in minimalist black ink, curved along his jugular like a promise of violence. He was reviewing documents, his sharp features illuminated by the soft glow of his phone. Dark eyes tracked columns of numbers with the precision of a predator calculating trajectories. Everything about him radiated authority, the set of his broad shoulders, the deliberate economy of his movements, the way the entire restaurant orbited his presence without him uttering a single word. Amara had seen powerful men before. South LA bred a different kind of danger, loud, chaotic, desperate. This was something else entirely. This was power that didn't need to announce itself. The poisoned whiskey sat 3 inches from his left hand, Macallan 25, his usual. 2 fingers, neat. The amber liquid caught the light, beautiful and lethal. Her pulse thundered in her ears as she approached. The note burned against her skin. "This is insane. He could have you killed. He could—" "Your water, sir." Her voice emerged steady, a small miracle. She placed the glass beside his documents with practiced precision. Jae-hyun didn't look up. "I didn't order water." "Compliments of the house." Her hand trembled as she set down the folded note beside the glass, camouflaged beneath a cloth napkin. His eyes lifted then, dark, intense, missing nothing. For 3 eternal seconds he studied her face, really looked at her, perhaps for the first time despite her months of serving him. Something flickered across his expression, too quick to identify. Amara stepped back, bowed slightly. The gesture felt appropriate here in this space between cultures, and turned away. Her legs wanted to run. She forced herself to walk with measured steps back toward the kitchen. She'd done all she could. The rest was up to him. Behind her she heard the whisper of paper unfolding. The restaurant continued its elegant symphony, conversations in Korean and English braided together. The sizzle of meat on table grills provided percussion. Glassware chimed. Laughter rose and fell like waves. Amara pushed through the kitchen doors, her hands shaking now that she was out of sight. The heat hit her immediately. Industrial stoves blazing, steam rising from pots of bone broth, the intoxicating aroma of gochujang and sesame oil thick in the air. "Table 12 needs more banchan," Chef Park barked without looking up from the grill. "Yes, chef." Amara grabbed the small dishes of kimchi and pickled radish, muscle memory taking over while her mind raced. What did I just do? What the hell did I just— The kitchen doors exploded open. Jae-hyun Lee stood in the threshold, the note clutched in his hand. Every conversation died. Chef Park's spatula froze mid-flip. The sous chefs turned to stone. His gaze locked onto Amara with the precision of a targeting system. "You," her heart stopped. The dishes slipped from her numb fingers, shattering against the tile floor in an explosion of ceramic and fermented vegetables. The sound ricocheted through the sudden silence like gunfire. Her voice evaporated. He crossed the kitchen in 4 strides, moving with the fluid grace of someone trained to kill. The staff scattered. Chef Park actually stepped behind his prep station, as if stainless steel could shield him from whatever was about to happen. Jae-hyun stopped 2 feet away, close enough that Amara could see the individual flecks of black in his dark brown eyes, could smell his cologne. Something expensive with notes of cedar and bergamot. Close enough that the heat radiating from his body mingled with the kitchen's suffocating warmth. "Who put you up to this?" His voice was dangerously soft, each word precisely enunciated with just a trace of an accent, the slight elongation of vowels, the crisp consonants of someone who'd grown up speaking Korean at home and English everywhere else. "No one." Amara's chin lifted despite her terror. "I saw..." "Saw what?" He leaned in, and she caught a glimpse of something beneath the controlled facade. Not anger, something more complex. "Be very careful how you answer." The truth tumbled out before she could stop it. "The bartender, Minseo, she put something in your drink when she thought no one was watching, but I was refilling the water station and I saw..." Amara's breath came faster. "I saw the powder, the way it dissolved, and I couldn't..." Jae-hyun's jaw tightened. He turned his head slightly, addressing the kitchen without releasing her from his gaze. "Everyone out, now." The exodus was immediate. Chef Park didn't even remove his apron, just fled with his entire staff through the back exit, like roaches scattering from light. Within seconds, Amara stood alone with the most dangerous man in Koreatown in an empty kitchen that suddenly felt far too small. "Show me your hands," Jae-hyun commanded. Confused, Amara raised them, palms up. They were shaking. He studied them for a long moment. Her slender brown fingers, the calluses from years of service work, the small burn scar on her right thumb from an accident with a steam tray. His own hand rose, and Amara flinched involuntarily. Jae-hyun paused, something unreadable crossing his features. Then, with deliberate slowness, he grasped her right hand. His palm was warm, his grip firm, but not painful. His thumb traced across her knuckles and electricity shot up her arm. "You're terrified," he observed, his voice losing some of its edge, "yet you warned me anyway." "I couldn't just..." Amara swallowed hard. "You would have died. People die in my world every day." His dark eyes searched her face, as if trying to decode a language he'd never encountered. "Why would you risk yourself for a stranger? For someone like me?" "Because it's wrong." The words emerged with more strength than she felt. "I don't care who you are or what you do. Nobody deserves to be murdered over dinner." A strange expression flickered across Jae-hyun's face, surprise perhaps, or something deeper. His thumb continued its unconscious caress across her knuckles, and Amara's breath hitched at the unexpected intimacy of the gesture. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. "Amara. Amara Williams. Amara." He repeated it slowly, tasting each syllable. The way he pronounced it, the slight roll of the R, the careful emphasis, made her name sound like something precious. "You've just made yourself the most valuable person in this building, and the most endangered." Before she could process that statement, the kitchen doors burst open again. 3 men in dark suits entered, moving with military precision, Jae-hyun's security team. "Sir," the lead man said urgently in Korean, then switched to English when he noticed Amara. "We need to move you now." Jae-hyun's hand tightened around Amara's. "She comes with us." "Sir." "That's not she comes." His tone left no room for argument. "Minseo tried to kill me tonight. This woman saved my life." He pulled Amara closer, his dark eyes burning into hers with an intensity that stole her breath. "And until I know who sent that poison and why, she doesn't leave my sight." Amara's world tilted. "Wait, I can't just... I have another shift at my other job. My grandmother needs..." "Your grandmother will be taken care of." Jae-hyun's voice was absolute. "Right now, you're coming with me. because the people who wanted me dead will know someone warned me, and when they figure out it was you—" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Terror and something else, something electric and dangerous, raced through Amara's veins as Jae-hyun Lee led her out of the kitchen, his hand still wrapped around hers like a brand. Her invisibility had finally shattered, and she had no idea if she'd just saved her life or destroyed it. The black SUV smelled like leather and danger. Amara pressed herself against the door, hyper-aware of Jae-hyun's presence beside her in the back seat. The city lights of Los Angeles streaked past the tinted windows, the neon signs of Koreatown giving way to the gleaming towers of downtown, then the sprawling mansions of the Hollywood Hills. She should be terrified. She was terrified, but beneath the fear, her body betrayed her with inappropriate awareness. The heat of his thigh inches from hers, the way his cologne filled the confined space, the memory of his thumb caressing her knuckles still burning on her skin. "Where are you taking me?" Amara finally asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "Somewhere safe." Jae-hyun's attention remained fixed on his phone, fingers flying across the screen with messages in Korean. "My home in the hills. I can't just disappear. My grandmother, she has diabetes. She needs her medication. I'm supposed to—" "Already handled." He glanced up, dark eyes meeting hers. "I sent 2 of my men to your apartment. They'll explain the situation to your grandmother, ensure she has everything she needs, and move her to a secure location until this is resolved." Amara's spine stiffened. "You know where I live. I know everything about everyone who works at Hanul." His expression remained neutral. "Security precaution. Amara Williams, 26, born in South LA. You support your grandmother Dorothy Williams after your parents died in a car accident when you were 19. 2 jobs. Waitress at Hanul and at a diner in Inglewood. Evening classes at community college when you can afford them. Nursing degree currently on hold due to finances." He paused. "You take the bus 3 hours every day because your car broke down 6 months ago and you can't afford repairs." The casual recitation of her life should have felt invasive. Instead, something in his tone, not mocking, almost respectful, took the edge off. "You do your homework." "I'm alive because I do my homework." Jae-hyun set down his phone, giving her his full attention. The intensity of his gaze in the close quarters made her skin prickle with awareness. "What I don't understand is why you risked everything to warn me. You don't know me." "I know enough." Amara met his eyes despite her racing pulse. "I know people are scared of you. I know the manager sweats bullets whenever you come in. I know the kitchen staff draws straws to see who has to serve your table. Yet you approached me anyway. Someone had to." A muscle in his jaw ticked. "Most people would have let me drink." "I'm not most people." "No." His voice dropped lower, intimate in the darkness. "You're not." The SUV climbed into the Hollywood Hills, winding through streets lined with gates and security cameras. When they finally stopped, Amara stared through the window at a modern mansion that seemed to float above the city. All glass and clean lines, glowing from within like a jewel box. "This is yours?" she breathed. "One of several properties." Jae-hyun exited the vehicle, then offered his hand to help her out. The gesture was unexpectedly courteous, at odds with everything she knew about him. Amara hesitated, then placed her palm in his. That same electric current shot through her arm. His fingers closed around hers, warm, strong, steady, and she found herself pulled gently from the car. The mansion's interior took her breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the glittering sprawl of Los Angeles. Modern Korean art adorned the walls, bold strokes of black ink on white canvas, traditional subjects rendered in contemporary style. The furniture was minimalist but clearly expensive, each piece perfectly placed. "Guest room is upstairs, second door on the left," Jae-hyun said, finally releasing her hand. Amara felt the absence of his touch like a physical loss. "You'll find clothes in the closet. Bathroom is stocked. If you need anything, press the intercom button." "How long am I staying here?" "Until I find out who wanted me dead and eliminate the threat." His expression hardened. "Min Seo is being questioned as we speak. By morning, I'll have answers." Amara's stomach churned at the implication. "You're going to hurt her. I'm going to find out who paid her to poison me." Jae-hyun's voice was cold, the warmth from earlier evaporating. "What happens after that depends on what she tells me." She's barely 22. She tried to kill me. He stepped closer, and Amara's back hit the wall beside a painting of a tiger. She hadn't even realized she'd been retreating. In my world, that has consequences. Age doesn't exempt you from betrayal. They stood inches apart, his body bracketing hers without touching. Amara's breath came faster. She should be afraid. She was afraid, but her body responded with something else entirely. Heat pooled low in her stomach. Her skin felt too tight. "You're different from what I expected," she whispered. Jae-hyun's dark eyes dropped to her lips, then dragged back up. "What did you expect?" "A monster." "I am a monster, Amara." His voice was rough, each syllable deliberate. "Don't mistake one moment of gratitude for redemption. I've killed men for less than what Minseo attempted tonight. I've built my empire on blood and fear. The fact that you saved my life doesn't change what I am." "Then why am I still alive?" Amara challenged, finding courage in proximity. "If you're such a monster, why didn't you silence the witness? I know what you did. I know Minseo tried to kill you. That makes me a liability." Something dangerous flickered in his expression. His hand rose, and Amara's breath caught. She thought he might grab her, threaten her, remind her of her place. Instead, his fingers ghosted along her jawline with devastating gentleness. The contrast between his words and his touch short-circuited her thoughts. "How you want to know why you're still alive?" His thumb traced her lower lip, barely making contact, and electricity exploded through her nervous system. "Because when I looked into your eyes tonight, I saw something I haven't seen in 10 years, something I'd forgotten existed." "What?" The word barely formed. "Fear without malice. Courage without calculation." His gaze held hers captive. "You didn't warn me expecting a reward. You didn't do it to gain leverage or curry favor. You did it because you couldn't stand by and watch someone die, even someone like me. That kind of goodness." He leaned closer, his lips nearly brushing her ear. "It's dangerous in my world, Amara. It makes you a target." "Then let me go," she breathed, even as her body betrayed her by arching slightly toward him. "No." The word was absolute. He pulled back just enough to meet her eyes, and what she saw there stole her remaining breath. Hunger, possession, something raw and barely controlled. "You're mine to protect now, whether you like it or not." Before Amara could respond, his phone buzzed. Jae-hyun stepped back, the spell breaking. He answered in rapid Korean, his expression hardening with each word. When he hung up, his jaw was tight. "Minseo's dead. Cyanide capsule in her tooth. She bit down before my men could stop her." Amara's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God!" Whoever sent her didn't want her talking. Jae-hyun's eyes were black ice. "This wasn't about me. This was about sending a message." He turned to face her fully, and the predator was back in full force. "And you, Amara Williams, are now the only witness to an attempted assassination, which means whoever ordered this will come for you next." His phone buzzed again. He glanced at the screen, and his expression transformed into something terrifying. "What?" Amara whispered. Jae-hyun's voice was deadly quiet. "They just firebombed your grandmother's apartment." Amara's scream tore through the mansion. "No, no, please, my grandmother. She's safe." Jae-hyun gripped her shoulders, his face suddenly close to hers. "Listen to me. She's safe. My men moved her 2 hours ago. The apartment was empty when they hit it." Relief crashed through Amara so violently, her knees buckled. Jae-hyun caught her, pulling her against his chest. His arms wrapped around her solid and secure, and for a moment she stopped thinking, stopped analyzing, just pressed her face into his expensive suit and shook. "They could have killed her," she choked out, because I saved you. Because I didn't die when I was supposed to." His hand moved to the back of her neck, fingers threading through the hair at her nape with surprising gentleness. "This is on me, not you, you understand. Whatever happens now, it's my war. You're just caught in the crossfire." Amara pulled back enough to look at him, anger cutting through her terror. "Then let me go, let me disappear. I can take my grandmother and what?" His grip tightened. "Run? With no money, no resources, from people who just proved they know where you sleep at night." His dark eyes burned into hers. "They'll find you. They'll use you to hurt me, and when they're done, they'll kill you both just to clean up loose ends." "So what? I'm just supposed to stay here, your prisoner? My protection. The correction was sharp. There's a difference. Is there? Amara shoved against his chest. Jae-hyun released her, but only by a step, still close enough that she had to tilt her head back to hold his gaze. Because it feels like I've traded one cage for another. Would you prefer the alternative? His voice turned cold. Would you like me to dump you back at that apartment, what's left of it, and let you fend for yourself against professional killers? I'd prefer a choice. You made your choice when you wrote that note. The words cut like glass. The moment you warned me, you stepped into my world. You don't get to step back out just because you don't like the view. They stood toe-to-toe, breathing hard, the air between them crackling with tension. That had nothing to do with anger and everything to do with the way his eyes kept dropping to her lips. The way her body leaned toward his despite her fury. Amara's phone, still somehow in her pocket, buzzed. She yanked it out, desperate for any distraction from the magnetic pull of Jae-hyun Lee. Unknown number. We know you warned him. Give us what we want, or your grandmother burns next. We know exactly where she is. The blood drained from Amara's face. She thrust the phone toward Jae-hyun with a trembling hand. He read the message, his expression turning to stone. When did this come through? Just now. How did they? Your men moved her. You said she was safe. She is safe. But uncertainty flickered across his features for the first time. He pulled out his own phone, barked orders in Korean. The conversation was rapid, harsh. Amara caught only fragments. Grandmother and location, and what sounded like multiple profanities. When he hung up, his jaw was granite. They're bluffing. My safe house hasn't been compromised. You don't know that. I know my security, but his hand was already moving, dialing another number. I'm having her moved again. Different team, different location. No one except me will know where. And if they find her anyway? Jae-hyun's eyes locked onto hers with frightening intensity. Then, I'll burn down every organization in this city until I find who's threatening what's mine. The possessiveness in that last word sent a shiver down Amara's spine. I'm not yours. Aren't you? He moved closer, forcing her back against the window. The glass was cool against her shoulders. Los Angeles glittered below, oblivious to the dangerous man crowding her space. You saved my life. That creates a debt. In Korean culture, in my culture, that debt is absolute. Your life is now tied to mine, whether you want it or not. That's insane. That's reality. His palm pressed against the glass beside her head. And since your life is tied to mine, anything that threatens you threatens me. Your grandmother, mine to protect. Your safety, mine to ensure. You. His free hand cupped her jaw, thumb stroking her cheek with devastating tenderness. Mine to keep. Amara's breath came in short gasps. You can't just claim people. I just did. His face was inches from hers, his voice dropping to a rough whisper. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll admit you feel it too, this connection. It started the moment our eyes met across that restaurant. That's just adrenaline, fear, survival instinct. Is that what's making your pulse race right now? His thumb moved to her throat, pressing lightly against the hammering vein. Fear? Or something else? Amara hated that he was right. Hated the heat pooling in her core, the way her body responded to his proximity like a match to gasoline. This man was dangerous, a criminal, someone who just casually discussed killing people, and she wanted him with an intensity that terrified her more than any threat. This is wrong, she whispered. Probably. His lips ghosted along her jawline, not quite touching, close enough to feel his breath. Does that make you want it less? Before Amara could answer, before she could make the catastrophic mistake of closing the distance between them, Jae-hyun's phone erupted with a shrill alarm. He pulled back instantly, swiping the screen. His expression transformed from hunger to lethal focus in a heartbeat. Someone just breached the perimeter. What? Stay here. He was already moving toward the door, pulling a gun from somewhere beneath his jacket. The weapon looked natural in his hand, an extension of his body. Lock this door. Don't open it for anyone except me. Jae-hyun! He paused at the threshold, looking back at her. For one moment, the mask cracked. She saw the man beneath the monster, Someone who'd learned to survive through violence, who'd built walls so high he'd forgotten what existed beyond them. Someone who looked at her like she was oxygen, and he'd been drowning. "I won't let them touch you," he said quietly. "I promise." Then he was gone, the door clicking shut behind him. Amara locked it with shaking hands, then pressed her ear against the wood. She heard footsteps, voices, Jae-hyun's security team mobilizing, the sharp bark of orders in Korean, then gunfire. The sound cracked through the mansion like thunder, and Amara's heart stopped. More shots, rapid succession. Shouting. Something shattered. Glass or ceramic, impossible to tell. Silence fell like a guillotine. Amara counted her heartbeats. 10. 20. 50. Her hand hovered over the lock. Every instinct screamed to hide, to stay safe behind the door. But what if Jae-hyun was hurt? What if he was... The door handle rattled. Amara backed away, searching desperately for a weapon. Her hand closed around a heavy glass vase on the side table. "Amara," Jae-hyun's voice, rough and urgent. "Open the door, now." She rushed forward, unlocking it. Jae-hyun pushed inside, blood streaking his white shirt. Amara's vase clattered to the floor. "You're hurt." "Not my blood." He locked the door behind him, his dark eyes wild. "We need to leave, now. They sent a hit squad, 6 men, professional." He grabbed her hand. "Whoever wants me dead just declared war. Where do we go?" Jae-hyun's smile was sharp and dangerous. "Somewhere they'll never think to look. Somewhere I can keep you close while I hunt down every single person involved in this." He pulled her toward the back of the house, and Amara ran, her hand wrapped in his, her world narrowing to one truth. She'd saved a monster's life, and now that monster would do anything to keep her alive, even if it meant burning Los Angeles to the ground. The safe house was nothing like Jae-hyun's mansion. Located in a nondescript building in Inglewood, it consisted of a single room with reinforced walls, basic furniture, and enough weapons to start a small war. Amara sat on the bed, the only bed, while Jae-hyun paced like a caged tiger, phone pressed to his ear. He'd been making calls for 2 hours, Korean, English, what sounded like Japanese. His white shirt hung open, revealing the muscled planes of his chest and abdomen. The dragon tattoo on his neck seemed to writhe in the dim light. Amara forced herself to look away, focusing instead on her own phone. A text from an unknown number had come through 20 minutes ago. "Unknown. Your grandmother is safe with us. We'll make you a deal, information for her life." She'd shown it to Jae-hyun. He'd made 3 more calls, then assured her it was a bluff. His team confirmed her grandmother was secure in a location known only to him. But doubt gnawed at Amara's gut. "You should sleep," Jae-hyun said, finally ending his call. "It's 3 in the morning?" "I can't." Amara gestured at the single bed. "Where are you sleeping?" "I'm not." He moved to the window, peering through the blinds at the street below. "Someone needs to keep watch. You haven't slept in almost 24 hours. I've gone longer." His tone suggested the conversation was over. Amara stood, crossing to stand beside him. "Tell me the truth. Is my grandmother really safe?" Jae-hyun's jaw tightened. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, "I don't know." The admission knocked the air from her lungs. "What?" "The safe house stopped responding 10 minutes ago." He turned to face her, and the raw emotion in his eyes stole her breath. "I've sent a team to check, but if they've been compromised..." He didn't finish. "Oh God." Amara's legs gave out. Jae-hyun caught her, lowering them both to the floor, his back against the wall, her cradled against his chest. She should pull away, she couldn't. "I'm sorry." His voice was rough against her hair. "I promised to keep her safe. I'm failing you." "This isn't your fault." "It's exactly my fault." His arms tightened around her. "Everything I touch turns to blood and ash. I should have let you walk away. Should have protected you by erasing you from this. By killing me." The question emerged without heat. "By making you disappear so completely even I couldn't find you." His hand stroked down her back, the gesture unconscious, comforting. "Give you a new identity, new life. Send you somewhere far from Los Angeles, far from me." "Why didn't you?" The silence stretched. Then, so quietly she almost missed it. "Because I'm selfish." Because the moment you looked at me with those eyes, no judgment, no calculation, just pure fucking courage, I knew I'd never let you go. Amara tilted her head back to meet his gaze. The naked hunger there should have frightened her. Instead, heat exploded through her body. Jae-hyun! His phone buzzed. He answered in Korean, his expression transforming from vulnerable to lethal in a heartbeat. The conversation was brief, sharp. When he hung up, his eyes were black ice. What? Amara whispered. Your grandmother is safe, but we have a problem. He stood, pulling her to her feet. My second-in-command just confessed. He's the one who orchestrated the assassination attempt. Amara's world tilted. What? Why? Because I've been going legitimate, cleaning up operations, cutting ties with trafficking and drugs. Jae-hyun's voice was flat, emotionless, the control of a man barely containing rage. Some of my organization thinks I've gone soft. They wanted me dead before I could dismantle what my father built. Your father? Built this empire on blood, expected me to do the same. His laugh was bitter. I've been trying to transition into legitimate business for 3 years. Real estate, tech investments, legitimate import-export. My second-in-command saw it as betrayal. So he tried to kill you. And when that failed, he went after you, sent the hit squad, used your grandmother as leverage. Jae-hyun's hand clenched into a fist. He's being held at my main warehouse. I'm going to make him tell me who else is involved. Then I'm going to kill him. The casual way he said it sent ice down Amara's spine. Just like that? Just like that. He moved toward the weapons cache, selecting a gun with practiced efficiency. You'll stay here. My most trusted men will guard you. I'll be back by dawn. No. Jae-hyun turned, surprise flickering across his features. No? I'm coming with you. Amara stood, shoulders squared despite her terror. If this is about me, if people are dying because I warned you, then I deserve to see it through. Absolutely not. It's too dangerous. My life is already in danger. The words burst out. You said it yourself. I'm in your world now. I don't get to close my eyes and pretend it's not happening. If you're going to kill someone because of me, the least I can do is face it. Something shifted in Jae-hyun's expression, respect mixed with frustration. You don't understand what you're asking. What I do to traitors. It's not clean. It's not quick. I need him to talk first. I know. Amara's voice steadied. I grew up in South LA. I've seen violence. I've lost people. I'm not some delicate flower who'll faint at the sight of blood. This is different, is it? She stepped closer. Or are you afraid I'll see the monster you keep telling me you are? That I'll finally look at you with the fear you think you deserve? The accusation hit its mark. Jae-hyun's expression shattered for one brief moment, raw and vulnerable and desperately afraid of her rejection. Then the mask slammed back into place. Fine. The word was clipped. But you stay in the car. You watch through the security feed. And if I tell you to run, you run. Understood? Amara nodded. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a warehouse in the industrial district near the port of Los Angeles. The building was nondescript, surrounded by similar structures. But the security was evident to anyone who knew where to look. Cameras, guards, the subtle positioning of vehicles for quick escapes. Jae-hyun turned to her before exiting. Last chance to stay behind. Amara met his gaze. I'm seeing this through. Something like pride flickered in his dark eyes. Then he was gone, disappearing into the warehouse. Amara watched through the tablet one of his men handed her. The security feed showed a stark room. A man knelt in the center, hands bound behind his back. Even through the grainy video, she recognized him. David Cho, Jae-hyun's second-in-command, the man who always sat 3 tables away at Hanul watching everything. Jae-hyun entered the frame, and the change in him stole Amara's breath. This wasn't the man who'd held her gently, who'd stroked her face with tender fingers. This was the monster he'd warned her about. Cold, lethal, radiating controlled violence. He spoke in Korean. David responded, defiant. Jae-hyun's hand moved faster than the camera could track, and David's head snapped back. Amara flinched but didn't look away. The interrogation continued. She couldn't understand the words, but the meaning was clear. Names, locations, conspirators. David spat blood and kept talking. Then Jae-hyun asked something, and David's response made him freeze. For 3 seconds, Jae-hyun stood perfectly still. Then he exploded into motion, his fist connecting with David's jaw with brutal precision. The tablet in Amara's hands buzzed with a call. Jae-hyun's name flashed on screen. "He just told me something you need to hear." His voice was tight with barely controlled fury. "The person who ordered the hit, it wasn't just about me going legitimate, it was about you." "What? That doesn't make sense." "Someone's been watching you for months, before you even started working at Hanul. They knew about your grandmother, your financial struggles. They planted Minseo specifically to kill me in a way that would frame you, or make you a witness who'd have to disappear." Amara's blood ran cold. "Why?" "Because you're the daughter of Marcus Williams, and apparently your father owed my organization $3 million before he died." The world stopped. "That's impossible. My father was a teacher, by day. By night he was moving our product. He got greedy, started skimming. When we found out, he ran, took the money and ran." Jae-hyun's voice gentled slightly. "The car accident that killed your parents, David just confirmed it wasn't an accident." Amara couldn't breathe. "You killed my parents, not me, my father. I was 18, away at college. I didn't even know about it until years later." Pain bled through his controlled tone. "When I took over and started going through old files, I found the order. Found out what my father had done. I've been trying to make it right ever since. Anonymously paying your grandmother's medical bills, ensuring you had jobs, keeping you safe from a distance." The revelation hit like a physical blow. "The manager at Hanul, he hired me even though I had no experience with Korean food. Because I told him to. The diner in Inglewood, they gave me evening shifts that paid double. My property, my orders. You've been... What? Watching me? Controlling my life? Protecting you?" The word exploded from him. "Trying to balance the scales for something my father did. Something I couldn't prevent. And when I saved your life, was that part of your plan too?" "No." His voice dropped. "That was the universe laughing at me. The woman I'd been secretly protecting for 7 years suddenly became the only person standing between me and death. And David saw an opportunity. Frame you for my murder or make you disappear as a witness, and claim the debt was finally paid. 2 birds, 1 stone." Amara's hands shook. "I need to get out of this car." "Amara!" She ended the call, pushed open the door, and stumbled into the Los Angeles night. The industrial district stretched around her, cold, impersonal, smelling of ocean salt and diesel fuel. Behind her, the warehouse door slammed open. Jae-hyun strode toward her, still covered in David's blood, his expression desperate. "Don't run from me," he said. "Please. You've been controlling my entire adult life." The accusation tore from her throat. "Every job, every opportunity. It was all you, paying for sins that weren't even yours." "I know." He stopped 3 feet away, giving her space. "I know it was wrong, but after I learned what my father did, after I saw your picture in those old files, this bright, grieving girl trying to hold her family together, I couldn't just walk away. I had to do something." "So you played God, decided what I deserved, where I worked, how I survived?" Tears burned her eyes. "Did you ever think about asking me? About telling me the truth?" "And say what?" His voice cracked. "Hello, my father murdered your parents over drug money. Would you like a job?" He laughed bitterly. "There's no good way to confess that kind of sin. So you just kept lying, kept watching from the shadows, like I was some kind of project." "You were never a project." The words exploded from him, raw and unguarded. "You were the evidence that I wasn't my father, that I could be different, better. Every time I made sure you were safe, every time I cleared a path for you, I was proving to myself that I wasn't the monster he raised me to be. That's not fair. You don't get to use me for your redemption." "I know." He stepped closer, close enough that she could see the anguish in his dark eyes. "I know it's selfish. I know I'm no better than David, than any of them, but Amara..." His hand rose, hovering near her face, not quite touching. "When you looked at me in that restaurant and saw someone worth saving, you gave me something I've never had. You saw me. Not the empire, not the blood, not my father's legacy. Just me. I didn't know who you were." "Exactly." His thumb finally made contact, wiping away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. "You saved me because it was right. Not because of who I am or what I could give you. And in that moment I fell. He stopped, jaw clenched. Fell what? Amara whispered. In love with you. The confession emerged quiet and devastating. Completely, irrevocably. And I know I have no right. I know my family took everything from you. But I'm done lying. His other hand cupped her face, and Amara's breath hitched at the tenderness of the gesture. I love you. I'll spend the rest of my life atoning for my father's sins. I'll give you everything, money, power, revenge, whatever you want. But I can't let you go. Amara's world tilted. She should hate him, should run as far as possible from this man whose family destroyed hers. Every rational thought screamed at her to walk away, but her heart, her treacherous, foolish heart, whispered something different. Your father killed my parents. The words came out broken. Yes, you've been controlling my life for 7 years. Yes, you're a criminal, a killer, everything I should hate. Yes, his voice was raw. I'm all of those things, but I'm also a man who loves you more than his own life. A man who would burn the world to keep you safe. A man who's asking you for something he doesn't deserve. A chance. Amara looked into his eyes and saw the truth. Jae-hyun Lee was a monster, but he was her monster now, whether she wanted him or not. Don't drink this, she whispered, echoing the note that started everything. His expression cracked open. What? That's what I wrote. Don't drink this. 3 words that changed everything. She pressed her palm against his chest, feeling his heart race beneath. If I hadn't written them, you'd be dead. David would have won, and I'd never know the truth about my parents. Amara, I should hate you. Her voice strengthened. I should walk away and never look back, but I can't. Because despite everything, despite the lies and the blood and the absolute insanity of this situation, when I'm with you, I feel. She struggled for the word. Alive. Hope flared in his dark eyes. Does that mean? It means I'm giving you a chance. 1 chance. She grabbed his shirt, pulling him down to her level. But no more lies. No more secrets. You want me. Then you get all of me, my questions, my anger, my grief, everything, and I get all of you, the good and the monster. Deal? Deal. The word was a vow, then his lips crashed against hers, and Amara's world exploded into sensation. The kiss was desperate, consuming, tasting of blood and tears and promises neither of them could keep. His hands tangled in her hair, pins scattering, releasing her natural curls. She pressed closer, 7 years of grief and anger and impossible longing pouring into the connection. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Jae-hyun's forehead rested against hers. I love you, he breathed in Korean. Saranghae, saranghae. Then in English, I love you, Amara Williams, my salvation, my damnation, mine. Before she could respond, gunfire erupted from inside the warehouse. Jae-hyun shoved her behind him, gun appearing in his hand. His men poured from the building, shouting in Korean. Through the chaos, one word rose clear. Ambush. The next 30 seconds unfolded in chaos. Jae-hyun's security team formed a protective circle, weapons drawn. More gunfire erupted, from the rooftops, the surrounding warehouses, everywhere at once. Get her to the car! Jae-hyun barked, shoving Amara toward his closest guard. I'm not leaving you. Go! His eyes met hers for one burning moment. Trust me, I'll find you. Then he was gone, moving toward the threat with lethal grace. Amara's guard, a young Korean-American named Chris, grabbed her arm and ran. Bullets pinged off metal. Someone screamed. The smell of gunpowder choked the air. They reached the SUV. Chris shoved Amara inside, then collapsed, blood blooming across his chest. No! Amara lunged for him, but he pushed her back. Drive! He gasped, pressing keys into her palm. Northwest corner, safe house, address in GPS, go. I can't just... He needs you alive. Chris's eyes were urgent. That's all that matters to him. Go, now. Amara's hands shook as she slid into the driver's seat. She'd learned to drive in her father's old Corolla, but that was before she knew who her father really was, before everything became a lie. She gunned the engine and fled. The GPS led her through industrial streets, then onto the 105 freeway. Her phone rang continuously. Unknown numbers, Jae-hyun's security team. Reporters somehow already catching wind of the warehouse shootout. She ignored them all, knuckles white on the steering wheel. The safe house was the apartment in Monterey Park, deep in the San Gabriel Valley's Korean community. Amara parked in the underground garage, took the elevator to the 5th floor and locked herself inside. Only then did she let herself shake. Hours passed. Dawn broke over Los Angeles, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that seemed obscene given the night's violence. Amara watched from the window, phone clutched in her hand, waiting. At 7:43 a.m., the door lock beeped. Amara spun, heart in her throat. Jae-hyun entered, limping slightly, blood on his face, his white shirt torn and stained. But alive. Whole. "You're okay," she breathed. "Chris?" His voice was hoarse. Amara's silence was answer enough. Pain flashed across Jae-hyun's features, quickly suppressed. He moved to the kitchen sink, washing blood from his hands with mechanical precision. "David's dead," he said without looking at her. "The ambush was his last play. Hired mercenaries to attack when he knew I'd be distracted. Took out 6 of my men." His jaw clenched. "Good men. Loyal men. I'm sorry. It's war now. The old guard versus my vision for the future. They want the empire my father built. Blood and drugs and trafficking. I want something cleaner. They won't stop until I'm dead or I bend." "What are you going to do?" Jae-hyun turned to face her, and the steel in his expression took her breath. "I'm going to end it. Every traitor. Every conspirator. I'm going to dismantle the old organization and rebuild it in my image. No drugs, no trafficking. Legitimate businesses with the muscle to protect them." He crossed to her in 3 strides. "And you're going to be beside me while I do it. As what? Your prisoner, your witness? As my partner." He cupped her face with hands that still smelled faintly of gunpowder. "As my equal. I'll teach you the business. Give you real power, not the scraps I've been sneaking you for 7 years. You want to honor your parents? Build something that actually helps people?" His eyes burned into hers. "Do it with me. Transform this empire into something good." The offer was insane, impossible, everything she shouldn't want. "What about my grandmother? Already moved to a private facility in San Diego. Best care money can buy. Guarded around the clock by my most trusted men, the ones I know aren't compromised. My nursing degree. Finish it. I'll pay for everything, or don't. Start your own clinic. I'll fund it. Whatever you want, it's yours. And my freedom?" Jae-hyun's expression softened. "You've always been free, Amara. You chose to save me. You chose to get in that car. You chose to give me a chance. I'm just asking you to make one more choice." He knelt before her, this dangerous man who killed without hesitation, and his vulnerability destroyed her remaining defenses. "Choose me. Choose us. Choose to transform this empire of blood into something that actually matters." Amara looked at him. Really looked. Past the violence and the lies and the impossible circumstances, she saw a man trying to escape his father's shadow. A man who'd spent 7 years secretly protecting her out of guilt that wasn't even his to carry. A man who looked at her like she was salvation itself. "I barely know you," she whispered. "Then learn me." His hands grasped hers. "I'll tell you everything. My first kill. My worst regrets. Every scar and where it came from. No more secrets. You'll tell me about my father. The truth. All of it. The good and the bad. What he did. Why he did it. How my father found out." Pain flickered in his eyes. "It won't be pretty." "I don't need pretty, I need honest." "Then you'll have honest." He stood, pulling her up with him. "And in return, I get you. Your brilliant mind, your impossible courage, your belief that someone like me can be worth saving." Amara's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, a text from an unknown number. Unknown. Final offer. Walk away now. Take your grandmother and disappear. We'll give you 5 million and our guarantee of safety. Or stay with Jae-hyun Lee and die in the crossfire. Choose wisely. You have 24 hours. She showed Jae-hyun the message. His expression turned arctic. "David's allies making one last play for your cooperation. They're offering me everything I need. Money. Safety. A way out." "Yes." His voice was carefully neutral, but his eyes betrayed him. Fear that she'd take it, hope that she wouldn't. "They're offering you an escape. From me, from this life. From all of it, Amara stared at the message for a long moment. $5 million. Her grandmother's care secured. A fresh start far from Los Angeles, far from violence and danger and the impossible man who'd turned her world inside out. It was everything she should want. She deleted the message. That was your answer? Jae-hyun's voice was rough with emotion. That was my answer. Amara stepped into his space, tilting her face up to his. I'm not running, I'm not hiding. I'm going to stand beside you while you burn down the old empire and build something better. I'm going to finish my nursing degree and open a clinic that actually serves the communities your father destroyed. And I'm going to love you, her voice caught. I'm going to love you despite every logical reason I shouldn't. Amara, but hear me clearly, Jae-hyun Lee. She grabbed his shirt, pulling him down. You hurt me, you lie to me, you go back on your word about going legitimate. I'll destroy you myself. I'll tear down everything you've built and salt the earth, understand? A smile broke across his face, genuine, unguarded, transforming him from monster to man. Understood. Good. She kissed him then, fierce and claiming. Now tell me everything. Start with my father. I want the truth. They sat on the couch as dawn brightened into morning, and Jae-hyun told her stories that broke her heart. Marcus Williams, teacher by day, drug mover by night, a man trying to provide for his family who made catastrophic choices. The debt, the skimming, the chase that ended on a rain-slicked highway with 2 lives lost. Amara cried. Jae-hyun held her. And somewhere in the telling, in the brutal honesty, something shifted between them. The debt was acknowledged. The truth was spoken. The past, while not forgotten, became something they could carry together. What now? Amara asked as the sun climbed higher. Now we go to war. Jae-hyun's voice was steel. I'm calling a meeting of the organization, everyone. I'm going to make it clear the old ways are dead. Anyone who can't adapt leaves or dies. No middle ground. That's going to make you a lot of enemies. I already have enemies, at least this way I'll know who they are. He kissed her forehead. And I'll have something my father never had. Something that makes me stronger than he ever was. What's that? Someone worth fighting for. His dark eyes met hers, blazing with purpose. Someone who makes me want to be better than the monster I was raised to be. Then let's make you better. Amara stood, pulling him up with her. Let's transform this empire. Let's honor the people we've lost by building something they'd be proud of. Let's... His kiss cut off her words. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. I love you, he breathed. Sarange, my brave, impossible, perfect salvation. I love you too. The words felt both terrifying and inevitable. My monster, my partner, mine. Outside, Los Angeles woke to news of the warehouse shootout. 7 dead, dozens injured. The largest gang confrontation in Koreatown's history. Inside, 2 people stood on the precipice of war, holding each other like lifelines. The empire would burn. Blood would flow. Enemies would rise from shadows. But Amara Williams had warned Jae-hyun Lee with 3 words that saved his life, and he would spend the rest of his protecting hers. Whatever it took, however long it lasted. Together, they would transform an empire of blood into something worth believing in, or die trying. The clinic opened on a Tuesday in March, exactly 1 year after Amara had written a note that changed everything. Located in South LA, just blocks from where she'd grown up, the Williams Memorial Health Center offered free medical care to anyone who walked through its doors. No questions asked. No insurance required. Your parents would be proud, Jae-hyun said, standing beside her at the ribbon cutting. His hand rested on her lower back, a possessive gesture that had become second nature. The dragon tattoo on his neck was visible beneath his open collar. White shirt, 4 buttons undone, tailored slacks. Still dangerous, still powerful, but transformed by the woman beside him. Amara smiled, adjusting the engagement ring on her finger. A simple band of platinum with a single diamond. Nothing ostentatious, just a promise made real. They'd probably have a heart attack if they knew who I was marrying. Too late to back out now. His voice dropped to that intimate rumble that still made her knees weak. You're stuck with me, Dr. Williams. She'd finished her degree 6 months ago, working through the chaos of Jae-hyun's war against the old guard. The conflict had been brutal. 3 attempts on their lives, countless betrayals, allies won and lost. But they'd survived, transformed the Lee organization into something that operated in the grey space between legal and legacy. Her grandmother sat in the front row, healthy and radiant, holding court with the neighborhood women who'd come to see Dorothy's grandbaby's big day. "You ready for this?" Jae-hyun asked. Amara looked at the crowd, her community, her people, the ones she'd survived for, then at the man beside her, former monster, current love, future husband. "I warned you not to drink that poison," she said softly. His smile was devastating. "Best warning I ever ignored. You didn't ignore it, you listened, you changed, you became worth saving. Because of you." He kissed her temple, gentle despite his capacity for violence. "Always because of you." The ribbon fell. The clinic opened. And in the heart of South LA, an empire built on blood transformed into something resembling hope. 3 words had started it all. "Don't drink this." 2 words sustained them now. "I do." And they had forever to build something beautiful from the ashes of the past.